Democrats' concerns about Biden's White House bid grows as the questions of is Governor J.B. Pritzker on that list of possible replacements. Democrat National Convention up in Chicago this August. What is going to be happening? It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Good morning. I'm Greg Bishop with America's Talking Network and the Center Square. Go check out the headline at thecentersquare.com. Democrats' concerns about Biden's White House bid grows as the race between Biden and Trump heats up. And if you go to the story, you can read yourself that President Joe Biden continues to play defense after a disastrous debate performance last week, with many in his own party calling him to withdraw from the Democratic ticket. At the presidential debate last week, Biden faltered, misspoke, trailed off, and at times seemed incoherent. And since then, it hasn't really gotten better from different accounts reviewing appearances that President Biden has made. But when you look at some of the Democrats that are worried about Biden, you've got Representative Jared Golden from Maine in a July 2nd op-ed saying that after the first presidential debate, lots of Democrats are panicking about whether President Joe Biden should step down as the party's nominee. And that's just one. You've got the Democratic governors that met with the White House and President Joe Biden. Also, Vice President Kamala Harris, as is being reported. Here's just one instance that was on CNN with Democrat Governor of Hawaii, Josh Green, talking about what they ultimately feel is going forward with President Biden at the helm of the Democratic Party of the United States.
Look, I'm a physician, and so it was my place amongst the other governors, the Democratic governors, to ask the president just humbly, how are you, Mr. President? Are you okay? Thursday, the debate day, you weren't who we are accustomed to seeing. The president reassured us. He did share with me, as I've shared, that he was exhausted and he had done quite a lot of travel in the 2 weeks before, and he didn't make any excuses about it. Exhaustion is very real for governors and for presidents, I can tell you. He gets up probably in the extreme wee hours of the morning to help our country, as do we all for our states. So it's not uncommon to have fatigue. That was what he shared, and I think that is pretty normal for an elderly gentleman who's 81, and it's pretty normal even for his opponent. So it was a pretty satisfying description of where he is. But I will tell you this, I'm not his physician. We were very satisfied to hear the president perked up, and he looked great just now addressing people about 4th of July.
So again, you got the Democratic governor of Hawaii making those comments. And on X, Gavin Newsom, California governor, said he heard 3 words from the president. He's all in, and so am I. Joe Biden's got our back. Now it's time to have his. So Gavin Newsom laying out some of his thoughts. Gretchen Whitmer, Democratic governor of Wisconsin, said that she's all in on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Help me elect Democrats up and down the ticket. And then you move on to the Republican sentiment here. And Mary Miller, a congresswoman from Illinois, she says J.B. Pritzker said that Joe Biden's on the ball in private and knows more than most of us have forgotten. If Pritzker is willing to lie like that about Biden's mental condition, what else is he lying about? Will the reporters he lied to in this clip follow up and ask him? And let's just go ahead and hear that clip. And we've got more of the governor talking about the idea of him running for president.
We'll point out that I thought it was extremely unfair for he was a Trump appointee originally to the Department of Justice, to offer his own opinions about the mental acuity or age of the President of the United States. I've been with the President of the United States many times. He is on the ball. The man knows more than most of us have forgotten. He knows so much more because he's been in government for a number of years.
So again, Governor Pritzker making those comments after Special Counsel Hur investigated President Joe Biden for documents he had in his possession from when he was a vice president and also a U.S. senator. But Miller on X, again, posted J.B. Pritzker suddenly taking a very different approach about Joe Biden. Pritzker was one of the politicians who said Joe Biden is on the ball in private and knows more than most of us have forgotten. So was Pritzker lying when he said that? We know the press won't ask him. While the governor doesn't have any public events today, He didn't have any public events the other day either. So obviously, when he met with the White House with other Democratic governors, that conversation was private. But clearly, some of that coming out with even a headline about the meeting that Biden had told those in attendance that he's fine except for his brain. According to one reported quote. But Governor J.B. Pritzker has long been asked if he's eyeing the White House, maybe seeking higher office. I went back into our archives and found the governor being asked about this all the way back to December of 2021. Here he is in July of 2022.
Well, I'm supporting President Biden in his reelection, and he has said and indicated that he intends to run. So that's where I stand. I'm going to be out there advocating for his reelection and for the reelection of all Democrats.
If he would decide not to run and you were asked to run, would you consider it?
I'm focused on getting reelected as governor of Illinois and serving 4 years more so that we can do even more during the next 4 years than we've already done, which is quite a lot during this last 4 years to lift up working families.
But if asked, would you run?
Nobody asks anybody. This is, I'm focused on running for the governorship of Illinois. Every day I spend trying to lift up people across this state. I intend to do that for the next 4 years.
So again, the governor being asked that back in July of 2022, the month before that. And again, this was an election year where the governor was seeking re-election, and he ultimately won in November of 2022. But rewind back to June of 2022, he was again asked about the prospect of him running for the White House.
Well, let's start with the fact that Chicago is one of the greatest cities in the entire world. It's a place that many, many people come to visit because it's beautiful, because we have festivals here. This is the birthplace of gospel music.
And he's talking about the prospects then of Chicago getting the Democratic National Convention.
Barack Obama is from. We have a lot to offer in Chicago. We've hosted Democratic conventions before. 1996 was fantastic. Anybody that was around for the Democratic Convention knows that Chicago really showed off well to the entire nation. So we're going to do it again in 2024. I think that is what people are looking for, and I believe that we will win to get the Democratic National Convention.
And again, he was asked about the prospects of running for president.
I can't tell you anything other than I love the job that I have. It's why I'm running for re-election as governor of our state, and I intend to continue to do a good job for the people of the state for the next 4 years.
Again, this was in 2022 when the governor was talking about this, and he was running for re-election then in November of 2022. Here's some of what he had to say after the election, where he won re-election.
I am not focused on that at all. I am focused on serving as governor for the next 4 years. It's really the most important thing to me. Is we have a lot of challenges that Illinois needs to overcome. We've got to work hard on it, and I'll be doing that. I commit to you that I'm, planning to be the governor for the next 4 years. We have too many things that we need to accomplish for the state. I think we all know, what that list is, or at least you all have a pretty good idea what that list is, and we're going to continue to do it.
And the governor asked about it even way back in December of 2021 when the pandemic was still raging and the restrictions the governor had put on the economy were still in place. And there were reports back then that he had private conversations about possibly running for president. Here's more of the governor flashing back to December of 2021.
Look, folks, I think I've been pretty clear about this. I want to be governor of Illinois. I want to continue to be governor of Illinois. I'm doing the job that I love.
You saw it 2 days ago when they talked about President Biden if he bows out of the 2024 election. They wrote that you spoke privately about your interest in seeking the White House, and that you're happy to consider this if the opportunity rises. Is that your futuristic bid at 1600?
I have never spoken privately with anybody or publicly about that, first of all. And second, I love my job as governor of Illinois, and I intend to keep doing it on behalf of the working families of Illinois, making sure that we're lifting up our children, making sure they get the education that they deserve, that families get the health care that they need, and that we're growing our economy and, of course, working our way out of this pandemic. So I'm going to continue doing the job. I have no intention of running for anything except re-election as governor.
This is 2021, December of 2021.
There, of course, people have mentioned this to me on occasion, but I've never had a conversation with anybody about it.
So you're saying that your political ambitions stop with being governor?
I am focused on this job. I love this job. I really love the job of being governor, and I'm going to continue doing it as long as I can.
What was your experience you were so involved with Hillary Clinton's campaign? What did you take from that as far as how difficult it is to run?
Look, it's certainly instructive to watch how difficult it is for someone to run for president. I ran for governor. That was a difficult endeavor as well.
And he
we're gonna do
continued
it again,
to
during this.
downplay those questions of is he going to run for the White House, and something I think is going to follow him as we get closer to the Democratic National Convention in Chicago coming up August 19th. And all indication is we at thecentersquare.com will be on the ground in Chicago bringing you the latest day to day. We also plan and are greenlit to be at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, and that's the week after next. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay up to date each and every morning with America's Talking Network and Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Thank you so much for being part of the program this morning. And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date each and every weekday morning here with Illinois in Focus Daily.